Months away from Election Day, and Democrats are openly fantasizing about President Trump dropping out. Longtime Democratic strategist James Carville claims that there's a 50% chance that President Trump will drop out of the election race and will have, quote, the worst Monday of his life. Of course, that being today, when the Afghanistan story continues to explode. This comes after the New York Times reported that months ago the U.S. determined that a Russian military intelligence unit offered Taliban-linked militants bounties to kill U.S. and coalition soldiers in Afghanistan. The White House denying that President Trump and VP Pence were briefed on the matter. Also, President Trump tweeting the fake news, New York Times must reveal its anonymous source. Bet they can't do it. This person probably does not even exist. Joining us to discuss, Rick Manning, president of Americans for Limited Government. We also welcome back our panel of the day, Joe and Victoria. And Rick, we'll start with you. Do these claims from the New York Times hold any ground?
Well, it's another one of these anonymous source kind of things that really don't have any bearing whatsoever. If the person has a real claim to make, they should come forward and make it. The people around the White House have all said the briefings didn't occur. Rick Grenell said the briefings didn't occur. He researched it. So we know that these briefings did not occur. And as a result, and this is just one more attempt by somebody who's trying to take down the president. We've seen it for the entire 3.5 years of his term, and it would be silly not to expect them to continue doing it now.
James Carville saying that it's going to be the worst Monday of his life. Of course, in response to this published story. Victoria, do you think it will play a major impact on readers who might come across the article?
Another bombshell that we heard every single day throughout the Russian hoax. I wonder what Mary Macklin, James's wife, thinks about his prediction. I have never seen Donald Trump back down to anything, and I can't imagine he would do so today.
Joe, any thoughts on Trump not wanting to win in November? We've heard some reports that he might not be as motivated. Any truth behind that?
Oh, I've never seen this president back down from a fight. He's not going to do it now. He'll probably be buoyed by the poll. Your earlier guest showed about Wisconsin and Michigan. As I said, there's a hidden Trump vote. He understands that. That doesn't make this easy to do, though. And the fact that the New York Times would publish such a horribly unfactual story from an anonymous source that clearly has an axe to grind. Look, the New York Times is at war with Donald Trump. They want to destroy him. They're like NBC, CBS, and the rest of them, and the Washington Post. They make no bones about it. They're not trying to be fair. They're trying to be vicious. This is another example of a horrendous job of non-reporting. It's a fake story. And the former director of national intelligence, Rick Grenell, has already said there was no such information that he was aware of, and the president and vice president were not briefed on it.
An anonymous source, and they couldn't even tell how the money was paid or how much money there was. Now, I mean, this is pathetic journalism.
Yeah, it's unanswered questions for sure. Anyone could read that and wonder, where is your information? Where's the proof here? Of course, we're not going to get a source, but could you at least give us some additional details? I don't know, but Rick, it's true. I mean, the president is up against the New York Times. He's up against these mainstream media outlets, and night after night, you're going to see these reports that will try to bring him down. It could weigh on someone who's running for president.
Well, he's faced it for 3.5 years, and before that, he faced it for 4.5 years. So the truth is, this president is used to taking shots. He's used to taking arrows, and he doesn't care what they say. Nobody who's going to vote for Donald Trump reads the New York Times. Let's just be clear. The New York Times has lost its way. It no longer represents all the news that's fit to print. It's now all the news that we want to tell people, and we want to hide the truth from people. We want to basically run a DNC rag. That's what they are. Everybody knows it, and there's absolutely no reason to pretend that they're anything more than a DNC kind of talk sheet.
It's interesting. We're talking about the New York Times. We also have the Washington Post over the weekend publishing a report trying to counteract what President Trump had claimed about we're seeing the violence in these Democratic cities. They showed a graphic. It was completely blue, right, of all the Democratic cities there. Victoria, it seems like this just isn't going away anytime soon.
I mean, the Washington Post is so pathetic. It's really sad for Joe and me who have lived there for so many years. The Washington Post did not cover the Peter Strzok notes regarding the meeting at the White House regarding Comey and the vice president and all the rest of the crew. The Washington Post editorial board doesn't even understand the basic law regarding Michael Flynn and says, oh, because he pled guilty twice, he should just be let go. It's really unsophisticated, and it's very poor journalism.
They've gone crazy, and they, as a result of losing their minds, they've not only lost their ethics and their objectivity, which of course was always in question, but they've lost the ability to think, and now they're just crazed. And it's lunacy, and it's destroying journalism in the process as we used to know it. Any semblance of journalistic integrity is gone from the New York Times as a result of their ludicrous 1619 project. And the Washington Post simply has become an advocate for the Democratic Party. It's really sad, but journalism has done it to itself.
Hey, I studied journalism, and to see it all play out and how this reporting is so one-sided and not based in fact, it's tough to see. But we appreciate everyone coming on and discussing it here on Newsmax. Joe DeGeneva, Victoria Tonsing, thanks for coming on today. Also, Rick Manning, president of Americans for Limited Government, thank you for speaking with us as well. Still ahead, protesters